started today. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz. I'm the spiritual director here, the senior minister, whatever title they have for me. And it is I'm so grateful to have you here. It's such a great morning. And we're going to welcome Anna Mello, our beautiful guest musician today, to lead us off in our opening song. Please welcome Anna Mello.
All right, you might want to stand up for this and get a little twisting going. Well, shake it up, unity.
Shake it up, unity.
Twist and shout.
Twist and shout.
Come on, unity.
Come on, unity.
Come on and play it on out.
Play it on out.
It's time for celebration now.
Time to celebrate.
We all feel so good.
Look so good.
You know we're just getting going now.
Getting going.
Oh, we're setting the mood.
Setting the mood.
Well, shake it up, unity.
Shake it up, unity.
Twist and shout.
Twist and shout.
Come on, unity.
Come on, unity.
Come on and play it on out.
Play it on out.
Oh, we radiate light now.
Radiate light.
We are love divine.
Love divine.
Energy is flowing out.
Always flowing.
We are one in God mind.
One in God mind.
Ready, we're gonna say love. Let's shake it. Twist and shout.
Twist and shout.
Come on, unity.
Come on, unity.
Come on and play it on out now.
Play it on out.
Oh, play it on out.
Play it on out.
Oh, shake it, unity.
Shake it, unity.
Well, shake it, unity.
Shake it, unity.
Come on, shake it, unity.
Shake it, unity.
Oh, shake it, unity.
Shake
Here we
it,
go, love.
unity.
Love, 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 love. Woohoo!
Anna Mello. Always grateful to have you here, Anna. Thanks for joining us. Yes. I'm going to move this over here for a bit. Okay, so I'm going to acknowledge something right off the top today. If I'm looking a little slower than usual, it's that I do have a sore back today. You ever have that experience where you wake up in the middle of the night and you sit up in bed and everything just goes prrrp? That happened to me last night. That's no fun. But I am so moved and healed by the presence of each and every one of you that I'm just not going to let that affect any aspect of my beingness today. What do you say? So yes, once again, good morning, beautiful, beautiful humans. Welcome to another glorious high energy Sunday. I've been saying every week, and it is something that I want to continue to offer, it is to say that you may not believe everything you hear today, but you will hear something you believe. And I think that it's important to really look at our beliefs, to really step back and say, what is it that I really believe? Because your beliefs are creating the construct of your experience. Your beliefs create your life. And so that's what we're here to teach, that's what we're here to know, and it is important that we really take a look at those beliefs. We are a spiritual community here at Unity of Tucson, and we're teaching practical tools for a better life. That's the whole point and purpose, I think, of engaging in experiences like this. If it's not made practical, then what's the point? It's fun to come and celebrate on a Sunday morning, but let's put this to use in our lives. What do you say? I say yes. Yes. We have a vision and a mission here at Unity of Tucson, and I would love for you to share with me. Let's say the words out loud to our vision statement. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. A world awakened to its magnificence. A world where everyone fundamentally knows that they are magnificent because that is the core of their being. We are inherently magnificent. And so let's wake up to that today. So the vision is how we see the world. The mission is how we get there. And what we're teaching here at Unity of Tucson is the path to get there is through this mission statement. Let's say this together. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. Just take that in for a moment. Who are you? That's a rhetorical question. Just check in with yourself. Who do you think you are? Who do you believe yourself to be? fundamentally, at the core, if you got rid of all of the stuff, who are you? I have my ideas about who you are, and I have my ideas about who I am. Fundamentally, what I know is that you are love. You are light. You are life. That's the truth. If you're joining us for the first time today, I want to say welcome, grateful to have you here. If you're online and joining us for the first time today, I would love for you to reach out and let us know that you have decided to be with us here. If you go to unitytucson.com/connect, you can fill out some information there. And always grateful to have you join us here at Unity of Tucson. If you're in the room here in person and you are here for the first time today, if you are comfortable with identifying yourself, we have a gift for you. So if you would be willing to stand up as a new person joining us here today, be delighted to welcome you, say thank you for being here, thank you. And if you would remain standing for just a moment. And we have something also, so Elaine's gonna bring you a gift, and we've got some stuff going around. There's something else that we know about you, because we at Unity of Tucson have done our research, and so this community would like you to know this truth. Ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. You are absolutely magnificent, and I am so grateful that you are shining your light and sharing your magnificence with the world. You can be seated. Thank you so much. Now, the reason that we know that you are magnificent is because everyone is a reflection. Every person in our lives is a reflection of us in some way. So you are simply reflecting back to us our inherent magnificence. So let us all together say these words. I am magnificent. Indeed, magnificence abounds. Yes. Hi, Linda.
Hey, Jonathan.
Good to have you here this morning, as always. Yeah. Today, to lead us in inspiration, to share a reading and lead us in our affirmation, and to offer us some prayer, please welcome our prayer chaplain today, Lydia Eisenberger.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Well, these are not the right.
No.
These are. You would have heard a lot of gibberish. Okay. So, kindness flows from our spiritual consciousness, and it serves as a catalyst for peace, harmony, compassion, and that's a lovely expression of the radiant stillness. Life is our forward, onward, and upward power. Our ability to flow our way from good to good. By the power of life, we give life to our dreams and intentions. God is life. Therefore, we live. We live knowing nothing could be missing, withheld, or broken about us. All that we could need for life, we already have within us as whole spiritual beings. By the power of divine life, we are the vitality and the flow of life. We live knowing that everything we could ever need for the well-being of our body, mind, and spirit is within us.
And so would you like to lead us in the affirmation?
Thank you. And now I'm going to say an affirmation once, and then I would like for you to follow after me a couple of times, okay? So the affirmation is, I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am loved.
I am loved.
I am enough.
I am enough.
2 more times now. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. Again. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough.
Indeed. Let's just relax right where we are, taking in that affirmation. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough light and quite enough power to walk through every fear. One spirit is in this very room.
Enough love for all the world, and in this very room there's quite enough joy for all the world, and there's quite enough light and quite enough power to open every heart. One spirit is in this very room.
I am centered and poised in the Christ mind. At the heart of each of us is a place of radiant love and peace. This inner core of stillness is unaffected by the changing circumstances in our lives. It is the still point around which the world turns. Loving in our awareness as we say, peace, be still. And so it is.
And there's quite enough light and quite enough power to open every heart. One spirit is in this very room, in this very room, in this very room. Thank you. And Lydia is doing double duty today as our keeper of the flames. We engage in this ritual that I introduced to this community called Lighting the Flames of Faith. This is a ceremony to honor the faith traditions of the world, all the religious paths, to deepen into our understanding that each and every one of them is rooted in a divine golden thread of love, that at the core of all of them is love. And so with each candle that we light, that is what we are affirming, love. And so we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion, We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are keeping open for them in our own hearts. We light a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires the revelation of the God essence at its core. For when we realize God at the core of all creation, we experience healing. That's how we teach healing in this philosophy. And so this candle is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. Thank you. The candle here on your left is our peace candle, which we keep consistently illuminated with the understanding that it represents the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And as we allow that inherent peace to inform our thoughts, our deeds, our actions, and our intentions, we create more peaceful experiences in the world and of the world and in our lives. So let's honor this candle by reading together the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace begins to reign in the world. Indeed it does. Yes. Is your microphone? Here, I can help adjust that. Yes. At one point in my life, I did some sound tech work. There you go. I think you're set now.
I am.
So Lydia is here to talk about the homework that I gave last week. If you're new to our community, as I say every week, if you're new to our community, I give homework every week at the completion of my Sunday message, and I invite you to take that homework and put it to practice in your life. And each week, I invite the keeper of the flames to come back and reflect on how they put the work into their lives and what happened for them. So let me remind everyone of what the homework was from last week. The homework was this: practive, I don't know what kind of word that is. Practice active listening this week, is what I said. Much conflict can be resolved and more peace experienced if we listened more. So I asked everyone to listen with the intent to hear rather than the intent to respond. Mm-hmm. Listen to what you are saying, listen to what others are saying, mm-hmm. and listen to what you think about what you are hearing. Yourself say and others say. What do you think about that? What's coming up for you? So tell me about how that went for you this week. What did you...
It was rather interesting because I had 3 friends call me from California, wanting me to listen to them. You know, they each had a problem. And so rather than hearing, going in this ear and out this ear, I had to sit there very patiently and listen to what they had to say. And so it was great. I was able to pray with them. And one told me, kudos to you because I feel much better now, you know. And I think that's one of the important things, listening, to really tune in and feel almost sympathetically what the person is going through.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, one of the things I said is listen with the intent to hear rather than the intent to respond.
Yes.
That's a challenging one for a lot of
Yes.
people. How did that go for you?
To me, here is going one ear and not the other. Listening is the key, where you're really taking in what the person is saying. And so rather than just hearing what they were saying and just pushing it aside, I made a concerted effort to actually listen attentively to to what they were saying.
To understand.
Yes, yes. So it was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's one of the greatest gifts I've been given is this training.
Yes.
In ministry, because in ministry you're trained to engage in active listening. I think we should all be trained in active listening. Life would really change if we all actively listened, don't you think? Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that today,
Thank
Lydia.
you, Jonathan.
Always
Thank
grateful
you.
to have you here.
Thank you.
Lydia Eisenberger. Bringing this back because our guest musician today is a wonderful member of our community. You've already heard her today, and she's got this great song that she wanted to sing today. If you know the music of John Mellencamp, John Cougar Mellencamp, you may recognize this song. Please welcome Anna Mello.
Yes, the song is from the great prophet, John Mellencamp. All right. See the moon roll across the stars. See the seasons turn like a heart. Your father's days are lost to you. This is your time here to do what you will do. Your life is now, your life is now, your life is now. In this undiscovered moment, lift your head up above the crowd. We could shake this world if we would only claim what's ours. Your life is now. Will you teach your children the truth? Will you take the high road? It's yours to choose. Do you believe you're a victim of a great compromise? 'Cause I believe if we change our mind, we change our lives. Your life is now, your life is now, your life is now. In this undiscovered moment, lift your head up above the crowd. We could shake this world if we would only claim what's ours. Your life is now. Will you teach your children the truth? This is your time here to do what you will do. Your life is now, your life is now, your life is now. In this undiscovered moment, lift your head up above the crowd. We could shake this world if we would only claim what's ours. Your life is now. My life is now. Our lives are now. Your life is now.
Anna Mello. Thank you. We could shake the world if we would only claim what's ours. We could shake the world if we would only claim what is ours. I think that begs the question, what is ours? What is ours? This is the second, no, it's not the second, it's the third Sunday of Advent, the Advent season. And the third Sunday this year, we are celebrating and working with the theme of love. So we started off with faith and hope on the first week, and last week it was another thing. It was peace. You know those moments where you're just like, I'm about to start a sentence that I know I can't finish because it is completely escaping my brain? And I'm like, I'm in it now. Peace. Last week was peace. This week is love. This week is love. And a lot of times we get to this concept of love and we talk about self-love. We talk about this kind of interpersonal dynamic, usually with relationship to one other person. Oftentimes we mistake love as only like romantic love, but love is so widely varied. What I wanted to talk about this year on this third Sunday of Advent, where we're talking about love, is the love we express and share as members of a community. And how do we engage actively as members of a community? You know, I see communities such as this. I see spiritual communities as places where we can become meaningfully involved with service to the world and to each other. That's really what I wanted to kind of place the focus on today. In what ways are we being of service, rooted in and motivated by love to change the world, to shake the world by knowing who we are and knowing that this is reflected in everyone whom we encounter, because that's what community is. It is recognizing that every single face you encounter is the face of God. It's easy to see when we come here on a Sunday and we see our beloved friends and spiritual community. We're like, oh, I see the face of God here. It's so easy to see here. But what happens when you leave the Unity of Tucson campus and you go out into the world and somebody cuts you off, or somebody, cuts in line, or somebody expresses in a way that doesn't feel too kind? Can you still perceive them and recognize them as the face of God and as inherent love? Community implies a reliance on one another. And I think one of the ways that we can let go of this, because I get triggered. Anyone ever get triggered? Am I the only one? You get triggered, say somebody does cut you off. You can get really triggered, right? I used to live in LA, so I talk about traffic a lot. People cutting you off in traffic. But community implies reliance on one another, to find that way that we can be in cooperation rather than in competition. Because none of us, not a single one of us, is in this thing called life alone. And if we are truly willing to claim our truth, we are going to shake the world. That's just the way it's going to be. So let's talk first about service. Service to the world as a key to successful living. I think that service is a key to successful living. And I'm going to start, and I know that this triggers, there's one person who here I know, because I have a long-standing relationship with this person, this is going to trigger them. I want to start with the golden rule. You all know the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, I've been questioned on this before. I'm just like, well, what if I don't want them to treat me the way I want? I'm like, let's not go there. Here's the thing. The golden rule, this idea that we are, and the golden rule is rooted in the fact that we are reflections of each other, right? The golden rule is common among all faith traditions. There are expressions of this idea in all faith traditions. And it works both ways. Do unto others, but also do not do unto others what you would not want done unto you. So just take that in for a moment. Do not do unto others what you would not want done unto you, and do unto others what you would want done unto you. There's a song in a musical called Into the Woods. That's the name of the musical. The song is called Children Will Listen. Have we done that here? Did somebody sing that here? Not yet? I don't know. I feel we did No One Is Alone from Into the Woods. Sorry. I'm having a private moment here with Linda. In the song Children Will Listen, one of the main themes of that is be careful the way you speak to children because they're listening. And ultimately, the idea in this particular musical is that the way you speak is casting a spell, and that spell is the way your life unfolds. And I think that that's easy to understand, but we also have to be aware of the way we're speaking to ourselves. Imagine that our own minds are like children, because we are consistently casting spells in our own minds, and that is the way our lives are showing up. So this idea of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you is casting a spell, and to not do unto others what you would not want to have done unto you is casting a spell. And that is how our lives can unfold as community in more positive ways. This requires critical thinking skills, because you have to think about the way you are behaving, the way you are acting, and the way you are being perceived as well. And it's not that you're responsible for anyone else's perception of you. You're not. But there are ways that we can let go of that to such a degree that we experience life more lovingly all around. I want to read to you a folk tale. It's a Tanzanian folk tale that relates to this way of being in service. The rainy season one year had been the strongest ever, and the rivers had broken their banks. There were floods everywhere, and the animals were all running up into the hills. The floods came so fast that many drowned, except the lucky monkeys who used their agility to climb up into the treetops. They looked down on the surface of the water where the fish were swimming and gracefully jumping out of the water as if they were the only ones enjoying the devastating flood. One of the monkeys saw the fish and shouted to his companion, "Look down, my friend. Look at those poor creatures. They are going to drown. Do you see how they are struggling in the water?" "Yes," said the other monkey. "What a pity. Probably they were late in escaping to the hills because they seem to have no legs. How can we save them?" "I think we must do something. Let's go close to the edge of the flood where the water is not deep enough to cover us, and we can help get them out." So the monkeys did just that. They started catching the fish, but not without difficulty. One by one, they brought them out of the water and put them carefully onto the dry land. And after a short time, there was a pile of fish lying on the grass, motionless. One of the monkeys said, "Do you see? They were tired, but now they are just sleeping and resting. Had it not been for us, my friend, all these poor people without legs would have drowned." The other monkey said, "They were trying to escape from us because they could not understand our good intentions. But when they wake up, they will be very grateful because we have brought them salvation." We have brought them salvation. So, all good, sorry, I'm having a technical issue. All good intentions, right? How many of us have lived within good intentions? If I were in this situation, how would I want this to be? That's really what the golden rule is all about. If I were in this situation, how would I want this to be expressed and experienced? Because I certainly would not want to be the one who pulled the fish out of the water. It's not to say that service in some manner is not good, but we also need to be really aware of how we are serving. Faith without works is dead, right? And that is a call to each and every one of us to actually engage in the activity of service, to engage, to step into the activity. It's not enough to just pray, although prayer is important, but if prayer does not impel action, then the prayer is actually void. prayer must move us into activity. There was I talked about it a few weeks ago. There was a story about Canadians in Gander, Newfoundland, who supported all the planes that landed on 9/11. And I talked about it a few weeks ago, and then people reached out to me and said, "Oh, have you seen Come From Away on Apple TV?" And I said, "I hadn't." Well, I finally watched it. It's definitely worth a watch. But the reason that I want to bring this up again is because that is a way that people were of service. Now, if you watch this particular adaptation, this dramatization of it, there was some reticence in terms of how people were going to take in these 7,000 people that were on airplanes that all landed and doubled the size of this town overnight. Ultimately, what they found is that their capacity to be of service was so strong that they did such good deeds in the experience. And it wasn't wholly across the board. There was challenges. But it doesn't stop and shouldn't stop any single one of us. That's how we can shake the world. We must look for the ways in which we can be supportive, in the ways we can be helpers. That's an act of love. That's an act of love. There's a great man who informed a great deal of my upbringing, and he said this: "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.'" That's Mr. Rogers. I think the question today and every day, in every situation, should be, how can I help? How can I help? Ask it of yourself and ask it of others. Find ways to serve. Be willing to serve in new ways, ways that might stretch you. We've had quite an experience over the past couple of years. When I came into this ministry here at Unity of Tucson, it was literally 2 weeks after everything had shut down. And there was a lot of question as to, how do I be of service to this community that I cannot be with in the same room very easily? It was a struggle. Did anyone else struggle during that time? There is a room at the table for everyone. That's what I came to. There is room at the table for everyone. And we found ways to work on reaching out. We found ways to engage as best we could, given the circumstances that seemed very, very challenging at the time. There is room at the table for everyone, in any manner, in any way. No one need be left out. There is a concept of service in the prosperity gospel, I guess is really the word I'm going to use for it. We talk about tithing. One of the questions that came up for me is, how do I tithe my time? How do I tithe my time? Well, I thought to myself one day, well, if we're giving 10% and I work a 40-hour work week, I should have 4 of those hours dedicated to being of service. That's a way to tithe time and have it quantifiable, right? What does this do in giving of ourselves and giving of our time, giving of our talent? It engages the circulation of life. So what I want to encourage us all to do today is find ways to make commitments to be of service. And not from a sense of obligation, but from a sense of love, from a sense of loving kindness. That is a way to express the inherent love that we are. In this undiscovered moment, Lift your head up above the crowd, the song says. We could shake this world if we would only show us how, if you would only show us how your life is now. Your life is now. Right here in this moment, this is it. This is it. Past is done. The future doesn't exist. This is it. So in what way might you step into being of service now? As an act and an expression of infinite divine love. How can we shake the world? Be available. Be present. This is taking that idea of listening a step further. Active listening. Well, perhaps beyond active listening, we become active presence to be of service. I have a vision that this community creates community care circles. Because I think one of the things that felt challenging was not really knowing how to effectively reach out without the resources at hand during the time of COVID to check in with people. And I'll tell you, when people did get checks, when we had a group of angels calling, and when people would hear that we were just checking in to see how people were doing, it was really life-changing for some of these people. I think I want to find ways that this community can create care opportunities. And if that is of interest to you, I invite you to reach out to me and say, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that change. I want to be part of the solution to engage this world, to shake the world in such a way that I am fully focused, wholeheartedly, on love as the primary motivating factor. Love of myself, which translates itself into love of community. So be of service. That's really the message. Find ways to be of service, because being of service opens us up to a more fulfilling expression of life. It brings more joy in life. You don't have to look for the helpers when you are a helper. And yet, when you are a helper, you will more easily see the helpers out there as well. This is how I think we give our lives more meaning. Service is a profound expression of love, and it is a recognition that we are all one. You know, we are invested, I think if you're in the room, you are invested in some manner in a spiritual philosophy that is called unity. We are one. There is no separation. We are a unified wholeness expressing individualized, each and every one of us. In the recognition that we are all one, it means that we all have a place at the table. We all have a place to be of service, and we all have I think we all have a commitment to be of service, to whatever degree suits us best. Let us provide for each other, in support of each other. That's how we are of service. That is how we change the world. That is how we shake the world. And that's my message today. Namaste. So what do you think the homework might be today? I'm going to invite you all to find some way to be of service to your community. To be of service internally here at Unity, find ways of supporting this particular spiritual community and the work that we're doing, but also find ways of being of service externally to the world at large. Actively engage in service in a new and unexpected way and see what changes come about for you. I want you to just see what changes come about. That's the homework this week. Y'all get it? Awesome. Let's go ahead and just relax right where we are. I don't know if it's because of my back or what, but there's a real more of a relaxed sense today. not bouncing off the walls quite as much. And I really do appreciate and enjoy the opportunities as well for experiencing the glory in the silence. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself, I find God, I find myself. I find myself when I find God. For there is no separation, there is only this one infinite power and presence. There is God and nothing else. This glorious greatness on demand, this infinite creative energy showing up as all that is. We are one unified wholeness, each and every one of us. We are the power, we are the light, we are the life, we are the love, we are divine. Knowing this and trusting this, I lay claim to the understanding that an ultimate act of love is to be of service. And so I find new ways and encourage and invite each and every one of us to find new ways within to be of service. For there is the opportunity to know something more profoundly, more deeply in the activity of service. And so I express the God self, the God essence at the core, by allowing the pure, perfect unfoldment of this good. It is with gratitude in my heart and overflowing that I simply allow this to be as I relax, release, trust, and know. I let it be so. And so it is. Amen. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself. if you would please welcome William Summers to the stage, the Vice President of our board. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So,
Yes.
because I like to have fun with you,
Uh-oh.
you've heard that saying that it's better to give than receive, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know that I agree with it.
Well, here's where I'm going with that. So, when I was 6 or 8 years old and adults told me this, I thought, you're nuts. It's way more fun to get that new bicycle than to give some of my stuff away. It's only as an adult, when I had greater awareness, that I realized the real joy of giving. And it's not that giving or receiving is, inherently one is better than the other. They're just things that I think what I came to realize as I got older is the feeling I get with giving. Mm-hmm. That's what's important.
Yeah.
So, because I really choose to feel a lot of joy, and so does my wife Anita. Well, never turn your back to the camera.
Something's happening here. I don't know.
So my wife and I would like to present you with this gift for Christmas.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're absolutely.
Am I waiting till December 25th to open it?
I don't care.
Okay. It's going under my tree at home.
So right now, my heart's just going, like the Grinch one where his heart just grew 100 times.
You're saying you're the Grinch?
Sometimes. So anyway, for the people online and the people in the room, we're adults now, and we realize the joy that we get from giving. So when the basket comes around, and for those of you watching online, if you give automatically, you already feel that joy. And if you don't, when the basket comes around, here's your choice to feel the joy that the rest of us feel. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's read together our giving statement as we hold what it is we're offering in our hearts and in our hands. I share this gift with love, conscious of the inner presence as the lavish source and substance of my supply. I am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me, and so it is. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Here we go. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Woo, indeed. I realized last week after the service was complete that I forgot to do something. Last week was the first Sunday of the month, and what we normally do is we do a drawing for those who are celebrating birthdays during that particular month, and I forgot to do it last week. So we're going to do it this week because the nomination forms were collected. And what happens is if you are celebrating a birthday in the month of December, or if you're celebrating a birthday in the month of January, I guess you could participate in January. But if you're celebrating in the month of December, we will have invited you to fill out a form where we do a drawing, and if you are the winner of the drawing, then a portion of our contribution to the world goes to a charity of your choice. So, William, did you already choose one?
Alan did.
Okay. So the winner of the birthday draw this month is Mary Alls. There you are. Yes, and you have invited us to give a portion of our contribution to Youth on Their Own. So thank you very much for that. And I see here that you're a New Year's Eve baby. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for that. Oh, always grateful to have the support and to be able to support the community. We are still inviting you to, if you have not filled out a pledge form, you can still fill out a pledge form, although the budgeting process has begun. We welcome your support of this community. By knowing your investment, it gives us better tools as the leadership of this community to know how we're going to move forward in support of our vision and mission here. So you can fill out a form by filling out the paper form, which is in the lobby, or you can go online to unitytucson.com and click on the pledge form that is available there. Holiday shopping online, I question. Are we doing that? I know I do some of my shopping online, and what I do when I do that is I go to smile.amazon.com, and I have registered Unity of Tucson as the charity that I am supporting, and I invite you to do the same. What happens when you do that is when you purchase through smile.amazon.com, a portion of your sale is donated to Unity of Tucson, and it's at no additional cost to you. So it's a great way to support the church. What else is happening? Oh, in the gallery, Elizabeth Quinn Worrell is our featured artist this quarter. And there is a painting that is in the lobby. Hi, Elizabeth, I see you back there. There's a painting in the lobby that she is raffling off. And it's a silent auction, right? It's not a raffle, it's a silent auction. So if you'd like to participate in that silent auction, the information is out in the lobby. We're going to be engaged in that silent auction through next Sunday, the 19th of December, and whoever wins on Sunday is the winner of that auction. So that's fantastic. Also, a portion of all of the sales that Elizabeth makes comes back to Unity of Tucson. She's contributing 40% back to our community. So it's a great way as well to support this community. I feel like you have something you want to say. Are you? So the silent auction is a full donation to Unity. So 100% of whatever we make on that auction comes back to Unity. I'm putting it in the microphone so that people online can hear it as well. Thank you so much. We'd love to have you celebrate with us. If you'd like to celebrate with us on Christmas Eve, we're going to have a candlelight Christmas Eve service right here, 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Join us for that. Also on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2022. It's only a few weeks away. Please join me out by the labyrinth. I'm going to be having the opportunity to walk the labyrinth and also engage in the dissolving bowl. Then you can come anytime. There's no reservation like I did last year. You can just come anytime between 10 and 3. I will be out there and I will help guide you through the labyrinth walk experience. So join me on New Year's Day for that. Also, spiritual education. We're starting a class in January. On January 19th, it'll be 8 consecutive Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to be doing Foundations of Unity. The course covers lessons in truth as well as discover the power within you. Super excited. I'm so grateful for those who have already registered. If you would like to register, you can do that in the bookstore or online. And the books are available in the bookstore now as well. So make sure you pick up your copy if you have registered and don't already have a copy. The quilt auction, you can check out the quilts that are in Harmony Hall. They're all up for auction. The auction is open through the end of the month, through December 31st at 8 p.m. The auction is being handled exclusively online, but if you're here in the room, all you have to do is you take your phone and you scan the QR code that is next to the quilt that you want, and then you can register and place your bid through your phone. If you are online watching, you can go and Well, I said I was going to do it, and I didn't do it last week. I'm just realizing. I promise I will put the link up to the auction on our website today. If Tyler is within the sound of my voice, please help me remember that. Tai Chi with Monk continues Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. in Room A. Gentle Yoga with Lynn Mondays at 9:30 a.m. in Harmony Hall. If you are interested in serving on the board of directors, we are taking inquiries for anyone who would like to serve. Just let me know. Send an email to me at revjonathan@unitytucson.com. Youth needs you. We're continuing to look for volunteers to serve in our youth program. If you are interested in that, we'd love to have you join us. So please email yfm@unitytucson.com, or you can sign up in the lobby. Today's prayer chaplains are Deborah Walker. There she is. Deborah is waving her hand. And Sherry Hoffman, who is back there waving her hand. If you are in need of a moment of prayer after the service, you can see one of them. They will be here in the sanctuary available to you. And thank you for your service as prayer chaplains to this community. Let's also thank our entire tech team, Wally and Don and Greg, for their service. I want to say thank you to those who participated in service today. Lydia, thank you for being here as our prayer chaplain and our keeper of the flames. Our prayer chaplains, Deborah and Sherry, thank you so much. Let's say thank you to Linda and the band, Joshua and Raphael. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's, of course, give great gratitude to our magnificent Anna Mello as our guest musician today. Always grateful to have you here. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here, making your presence known. Whether you're watching online or you're in the room, you are what makes this spiritual family, and I'm grateful that we're all together in this. And let's celebrate that. As we complete our time here, I would love for you to share with me one of the submissions for the closing prayer. Let's read this together. I am love and light. I am one with magnificent spirit. Walking in faith and wholeness, I am safe, powerful, and filled with grace. And so it is. Amen. If you would like to dance or move your body, please feel free to do so. Well, it's an idea whose time has come. A new generation decides as one. Of the same small planet we are born. It's never been so obvious before. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better. And I. The future of history is crystal clear. The borders between us will disappear. Of the same small planet we are born, and there's no foreign country anymore. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. Some say that I'm out of touch with the times, that this world is no place for a future like mine. But still I can see it, and still I believe it. There's too many lives on the line. There's so many lives on the line. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, kiss the same sky. We breathe the same air. I think we ought to get along better, you and I. We breathe the same air, drink the same water, walk the same earth, everyone.